Hello everyone and welcome to Motorcyclegear.com. Today we're taking a look at the Territory 2 jacket and pants from REV'IT. Now before I kick off this video, I do want to add a quick disclaimer here. REV'IT did hook us up with an early sample of the Territory 2 jacket and pants, so please do keep that in mind just in case not everything is 100% the same when the final production versions come out. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. The Territory 2 setup is considered adventure gear and is specifically designed for off-road use. For example, trail riding. Now REV'IT does state that its primary focus is both mobility and ventilation. Now one interesting fact about the pants and the jacket is that they're both actually going to be unisex sized, meaning that they are designed to fit both men and women. I will go into details on sizing here in a little bit, but first let's start off by looking at some of the details on the jacket. Overall construction is going to be a combination of PWR shell mesh. That's going to be all the tan parts here, and then we also have PWR shell rib stretch. That is going to be the olive green parts right here. And then the black parts here on the sleeves are going to be our core drawer ripstop, which is going to be a very good combination of materials that breathes well, feels lightweight, and earns a CE single A rating. There are two color options available. One is going to be this sand and green color, and the other is going to be blue and black. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into sizing. Now before I start, please do take this advice with a little bit of a grain of salt, as it is based off of a sample product. What that means is the final version might not be exactly the same, so again, just keep that in mind. Alright, so at roughly 6 foot, 215 pounds, I typically wear a size XL in REV'IT. Here I am wearing a size large. Now it does fit me a little bit tighter than I would like, but it still fits. So based off of that information, my advice here is to go down half a size. What that means is if you run the measurements and you fall between two sizes, go ahead and pick the smaller one. Now with that said, do remember that the Territory 2 jacket is going to be unisex size, and what that does mean is that it does have certain special features where it will flex certain materials to better accommodate women without looking off shape on men. The size range is going to be extra small to 3XL, and specifically for the ladies, you're probably going to want to size down a size, again, because it is unisex. For reference, if you are familiar with European numerical sizing, a size 38 will be a size small here. Once the final version of the Territory 2 jacket comes out, we'll have an updated size chart on our website, so be sure to visit Motorcyclegear.com. If you need further assistance, by all means, please hit us up via phone or email. Jumping into the details on the front here, this green section, as I mentioned earlier, is PWR shell rib stretch. It does feel very lightweight, quite comfortable, and it really has a good amount of stretch to it. There's also going to be some perforations here in the chest area to allow for some additional breathability. And then right above that, we are going to have two nicely sized reflective stripes, obviously good for low light visibility. And then the collar itself is going to be quite simple and thin, but it does have a soft and comfortable feel to it. The overall closure for the jacket is going to be a straightforward zipper, no buttons or straps here at the collar, but it does have that nice wide REV'IT pull tab that I've talked about in multiple videos now, that is really easy to use both with your gloves on and off. And another thing that's nice about the zipper is that it is fairly flat, and it does hide behind these channels right here. So when you do have it zipped up, it is going to keep your tank from getting scratched because it is tucked in, again, behind these raised little pipes right here on the sides. Moving down the jacket, we do jump into this section right here. Once again, this is going to be PWR shell mesh. Obviously, a whole lot of breathability with this material. There is going to be one pocket right here in the chest. It is going to be a zipper closure, and it is big enough to fit my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Keep in mind that it barely fits. It's pretty much the entire pocket, so not an overly large pocket, but still a good size. Speaking of pockets, two more pockets right here on the side. They are both going to be zipper closure as well. They are hand warmer style, and obviously my hands fit quite well. If you actually look, the pocket's pretty large. My hand's right here, and then I've got enough room for pretty much my hand once again. So about 2 times the size of my hands. I do wear a size large glove for reference, so pretty good size pockets right here. And then at the very bottom, we do have our Dirt Series logo. This jacket is a part of the Dirt Series from REV'IT, as I mentioned earlier. Before I forget, we do have some nice pull tabs on the zippers here. They are quite bright in color. I do think it complements the color pretty well, so no complaints there. And once again, really easy to use both with gloves on and off. And then moving on to the sleeves, only the left-hand side is going to get this 3D REV'IT logo. The rest of the sleeve designs will be symmetrical for both sides. Both sides do get this really long reflective stripe right here. I do love seeing this, especially in a jacket that is primarily made for off-road use. You do want to have that low light visibility. Moving down from there, we do get into that Cordura ripstop material. Nice and tough stuff right here. And then as we get into the cuff, really not too much to talk about, just a stretchy material overall, nice and comfortable. And then you do get a thumb loop to keep the jacket in place. All right, let's go ahead and flip the jacket over and take a look at the back. The back is going to be primarily mesh to promote airflow. And then here at the top, we do have a nicely sized REV'IT logo that is also reflective. So nice touch there. Just below that, we have the Dirt Series logo once again in this little stripe right here. I do think it's a nice design touch. And then if you notice in the very bottom, there is going to be a pretty large pocket with a zipper closure. If you haven't already noticed, the zipper is slanted, and that is for a reason. If you are on the bike, you're trying to reach behind to get into the pocket behind you. If the zipper is straight, it's a little bit harder to get stuff out, and you're more likely to throw things out of your pocket on accident. With it being slanted, your hand comes around, goes into the pocket much easier, and you've got that resistance of accidentally pushing something out of the pocket. So definitely a nice touch there. And from a size perspective, if you look at my hands, about the size of 2 hands, so pretty good size pocket here, definitely nice and convenient. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the jacket. You'll notice behind the main zipper here, there is a small flap with a nice little REV'IT logo. And then as we open the jacket all the way up, you'll notice the main thing you see here in the middle is going to be a large pocket for the optional level 2 back protector. This one is not going to be the usual Velcro closure right here. Instead, it has a zipper at the top. Once you open up that small zipper, the protector slides right in and you're good to go. Notice right here, there is the usual REV'IT tag that does tell you what type of back protector and what size fits. So it definitely takes out all the guesswork in finding the right back protector. Now, speaking of armor, there is included armor in both the shoulders and the elbows. The cool thing here that's different than usual is sometimes you get an adjustable elbow. Here you do have an adjustable elbow. There's 2 different settings, but you normally don't get an adjustable shoulder. Well, here with the Territory 2 jacket, you actually get an adjustable shoulder as well. So just like on the elbow, there's going to be 2 different Velcro straps at the top to adjust the height, and then there's 2 different pocket openings to put the armor higher or lower. Now remember, this jacket, just like this complete line, is unisex, so having adjustable armor is going to make it easier to have the jacket fit properly on both men and women. Once again, with the armor, simple opening with the Velcro. I'll pull the armor out. You have the same armor in both the shoulders and the elbows, and this is going to be REV'IT's Level 1 C Smart armor. Again, Level 1 rated. It is T+ and T-. Very flexible, good quality armor that REV'IT's been using for a while. A lot of breathability, a lot of airflow, so definitely good quality stuff right here. And then the last 2 parts to point out on the inside is, one, you do have a adjustable drawstring cord on the inside. It will be on both sides of the jacket, so you can make sure the waist fits properly. And then here on the one side, you're going to have a zippered pocket inside this little mesh compartment. If I open it up, not too large of a pocket, but again, just about big enough to fit my phone, iPhone 15 Pro Max for size reference. Pretty much a tight, super tight fit. It's going to be the entire pocket, but it is possible if you kind of take your time and finagle it in there. So just keep in mind, not a super large pocket, but still functional nonetheless. Overall, the Territory 2 jacket is comfortable, breathable, feels lightweight, and allows for excellent mobility. All right, so now that we've taken a look at the jacket, let's go ahead and take a look at the Territory 2 pants. The Territory 2 pants are going to feature a lot of the same materials as the jacket with a few key exceptions. I'll make sure I point those out as we dive in. Additionally, just like the jacket, the pants are also going to be CE single A rated. For colors, there are again 2 options. There is a sand and black, which pretty much matches the sand and green jacket directly, and then there is also a anthracite and black option. Once again, on sizing, do keep in mind this is all based off of samples, so it may not be 100% accurate when the final products come out. With that said, the size run is going to be extra small to 2XL in the short length version, or small to 2XL in the standard length version. Now, typically I do wear a size XL in REV'IT pants. Here the sample that we have is a size large, so it does not fit me, hence why I'm not wearing it on camera. With that said, with it being one size smaller, it was proportionately smaller, meaning that I do believe if I had a size XL, that it would fit me comfortably. Now, once again, please remember, this is going to be unisex sizing, and it is designed to fit both the male and female figure comfortably. Once the final product does come out, be sure to visit Motorcyclegear.com, as we are going to have full sizing charts and sizing advice right there on the website. Let's go ahead and dive into the details, starting with the main closure here at the front. There is going to be an adjustable belt-like closure here. It is kind of a hook. Good quality material here, nice and strong. It just hooks into the pants like that. And then you can use the pull here to adjust how tight or loose you want the waist. Behind that belt feature, there is a single button closure. And then we do have a regular size zipper. Once again, the zipper is that nice and wide pull tab that REV'IT likes to use. I do like this. I've said it multiple times now. Very easy to use both with gloves on and off. Now, I did mention earlier that these pants, in fact, the entire line are unisex, and obviously adjustable belt systems like this will help with sizing. But I also do want to point out that there's a really cool, unique feature here that REV'IT added, and it's going to be this triangle piece here on the side. This panel here is going to be PWR shell stretch, and it is extremely stretchy. Again, great for helping with fit, but also with body shape. So for those with, for example, more hips than others, this stretch here adds quite a bit of comfort. Working our way down the pants, we do get a 3D REV'IT logo on this side, as well as a Dirt Series logo right here. And then we also do get two zippered pockets, about the size of my hand for each pocket, so definitely plenty of space to work with. But one really cool and unique feature here is if you've ever had a pocket here on this part of the pant leg, when you're on the bike, the pocket is kind of compressed against your thigh, and it makes it a little bit harder to get your hand into the pocket, right? Well, a really cool feature that REV'IT added is once you unzip the pants or unzip the pocket, there is a little extra flap right here, and that actually expands the opening to make it that much easier to get into the pocket. So really cool design touch right there, making the pocket that much more functional while you're on the bike. And then as we continue down the pant legs, we do get some more PWR stretch right here. This is right above the knees, adding extra comfort and mobility. And then speaking of the knees, this is all Cordura ripstop right here. And then we do have Monaco cowhide right here on the inside. This is great extra protection for wear and tear as you're gripping the tank. Moving down below the knees, we do have some more PWR shell stretch. Again, super stretchy material will make it super easy to get in and out of the pants. One last thing to note, there is a REV'IT logo right here. With the lights that I'm using, it may look reflective. I do want to point out that it's not reflective. It is simply just a printed on logo. Flipping over to the back, fairly straightforward stuff here. We have the same combination of high quality materials that are strategically placed. And at the waist here, we do have another REV'IT logo. This one is reflective, so once again, a nice touch. And then here in the seat, we do have some Sure Grip overlays to help keep you on the bike. Making our way to the inside, a few things to note. We do have hanging loops here on each side. Makes it easier to store the pants and kind of hang them up. We do also have included hip armor. It's going to be a little Velcro pocket right here. Go ahead and pull the armor out for you. Very flexible, easygoing stuff right here. Plenty of airflow as well. This is going to be C-Smart CE Level 1. Keep in mind the hip armor is T+, but not T-. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at the armor. It is obviously a pocket that's easy to access, so if you do want to upgrade the armor later, you have the option to do that. Another nice touch right here is there's this kind of grippy material that goes all the way around the pants. This will help the pants kind of stick to you and keep them from sliding up and down, so really a nice touch to have. And then the other included armor is going to be at the knees. Again, same style of armor, same style of pocket. The big difference here is the knee armor is actually adjustable. There are two different height settings that you can move the armor to. And then as I pull out the armor, like the hip armor, very flexible, very breathable. It is once again C-Smart CE Level 1. The only difference is on the knees, it is going to be T+, T-, where again on the hip it was only T+. Overall, the Territory 2 jacket and pants are comfortable and a solid evolution to REV'IT's Dirt line. If you are looking for off-road or trail-based gear, regardless of gender, the Territory 2 jacket and pants are definitely worth checking out. Alright, so that's going to be it for the Territory 2 jacket and pants from REV'IT. Be sure to visit Motorcyclegear.com. Hit us up in the comments down below via phone or email, as we are always here to help you out with your motorcycle gear needs. Thank you all for watching. Till next time.